The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. We're answering your questions about your life and your money. You will know George's voice from several of our podcasts, the Borrowed Future podcast, which millions of you have downloaded now. The new Fine Print podcast, which is, wow, it's come out of the gate like a super popular thing, because it is. Very well done. And, of course, he's the host of the Entree Leadership podcast. So Fine Print has dropped another episode this week. We got 10 episodes total, and this was like number 7, right?
Yeah, the dirty truth about credit scores. That's one you've been railing against for years, Dave. And so I just wanted to, once and for all, you can send this to your friends and go, just listen to this. Listen to this 25-minute episode on credit scores to get the skinny.
Yeah, because we've done one on Bitcoin. It was very good. I listened to the one on the miles and points.
Oh, credit card rewards.
That was well done.
Thank
well done.
you.
Chuck E. Cheese. That was a good
Chuck E. Cheese. That's
nice
the best
play
I could get.
There.
Best analogy I could come up with.
Well played. Well played. Because it's beautiful, too. I mean, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah. It's all psychological.
Sticky hands.
Gamification.
Sticky hands. You got to have them. Open phones at 888-825-5225 as we answer your questions about your life and your money. Shane is with us. Shane is in Indianapolis. Hi, Shane. How are you?
Hey, Dave. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
Well, great. My wife and I are seeing a move in the next 1 to 3 years. I'm debt-free other than my house. I owe $115,000 on the house right now. And I have $125,000 in cash. And then I also have $20,000 of an emergency fund.
Way to go.
I'm wondering, Thanks. So I'm wondering, do I pay out the house now, or
sure.
Knowing that we're probably going to move, in the next 1 to 3 years, do I continue on the path that I'm on of just stacking away cash, or?
I'll pay it off, and then you can stack more cash because you don't have a house payment.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
That's impressive. Shane,
right.
how did you save up $125,000? I'm just curious.
We just kind of had a wildly important goal of my wife staying at home, and we thought the best path of doing this, is to pay off the house and to remain debt-free. So early on, we started off, we took your Financial Peace University before we got married, and we've kind of just always lived by your rules and principles. So.
You're doing extremely well. I'm very proud of you. Let's back into why I said to do that, okay?
Okay.
You're going to move anyway. Obviously,
Yep.
You know that when you sell the house, they're going to give you a check. So you're not losing the money. You're not spending the money. You're not consuming the money. It's just changing positions, which asset it's parked in, right? And so you're doing away with a mortgage, and your interest rate is higher than your savings rate on your savings account. So you're mathematically going to win a tiny, tiny bit there, but it's not really worth doing it for that. What will happen is this, and this is what it took me probably 15 or 20 years of doing this before I really gave credit to this, because I'm a math nerd. I wanted everything to be a math thing. But here's the weird thing. You make different decisions with a paid-for house.
Yeah.
You just do, because your headspace, where you are spiritually, where you are relationally changes. And so I'm not saying you'll stay because it's paid for. I'm saying you're going to kind of feel very confident, edging on cocky as a seller, because I don't have to sell it. And
right.
I'm going to get a price, and there's nothing pushing this. There's no I just don't have to be in a hurry because I don't have any payments. Also, you're going to be able to pile up cash like a crazy man because you don't have the house payment anymore. That works too. And you're obviously very good at that. Congratulations again. I'm very impressive. But even stuff like another wave of COVID comes through, or just a wave of political stupidity comes through, which seems to be coming in the tsunami level these days. But if you just keep this, something comes through, all these external variables that we don't have control over, our spirits and our decision making is much cleaner and wiser when we're sitting in a paid-for house than when we're sitting with $115,000, $120,000 in the bank and not a paid-for house. It's just weird, and there's no math to it. It's just the borrower is slave to the lender, and the slave, when he no longer has a master, is known as free. And it just, think about a slave and how their mentality changes, and there is something to that is beyond just the apparent mathematics.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but you're saving on the interest you're going to pay to this bank. You're freeing up the payment. And you said at the beginning you have this wildly important goal so that your wife can stay home. And so if you can do that earlier now with a paid-for house, this is fantastic news.
Well, she's probably already done it. I mean, it's just it's incredible. Very, very well done. Sharp young couple. And I'm glad that what we do at Ramsey was able to add value to somebody like that's life.
Yeah.
Very
more of that. I want to see that happen all over the country.
I mean, what problems to have? I have the money in the bank to pay off my house. Should I do it? This is a much better question than I'm 4 payments behind.
Yes.
How do I stop the foreclosure? Yeah. Because we have done detailed research, and 100% of the foreclosures occur on a home with a mortgage.
Ironclad data.
It's just straight up. There's no question about it. So there's risk associated with it, and we just do not perceive the risk because we all understand that housing is such a good investment. Real estate's such a stable investment by and large. And so we don't assign any emotionally and spiritually any risk to the process. Now, Shane wasn't pushing back, but some of your, Dave Ramsey lost his mind. He told that 32-year-old guy to pay off his house. He should have been telling him to do. No, Dave's not lost his mind. The instructions I gave him were the shortest distance between where he is now and wealthy. And we know this from the millionaire data.
Yeah, and we're seeing this where a lot of people have a stack of cash and they go, well, Dave, it doesn't make sense to pay off the house. I could invest that. Yeah. The market's doing so well right now.
It is.
But those people have never felt the feeling of having a paid-for house with no mortgage payment.
And here's the thing, too. If you don't think there's an emotional element to it, just reverse the process. What if you were sitting with $10,000 in the bank instead of $125,000 and your house was paid for? Would you go borrow $115,000 on your house in order to put it in the bank and have $125,000 in the bank with a mortgage? Reverse the process. And I would say 98% of the time I ask the question in reverse like that, people just go, well, no. But it's a trick question because it tricks you to thinking with your heart, not just your head. And your heart's where you measure risk. Your math's where you do math.
Oh, that was good.
Your head's where you do math. Your heart's where you measure risk. And you just you have almost a visceral reaction to that. It's like, no, I wouldn't do that. But, well, it's the same thing.
Yeah, you get excited about seeing that money grow in an investment, but you don't take into account the risk when you do that.
But when you talk about borrowing money on a paid-for house, you feel the risk for the first time.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all of your, in quotes, air quotes, sophisticated math goes out the window.
Yep.
Yeah, I say air quotes because it's not sophisticated, because you left out risk, and sophisticated math would include risk. This is The Ramsey Show. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. George Camel, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. He is also the host of the ever-popular podcast, The Fine Print. Be sure and check it out. Ramsey Network's producing all kinds of wonderful podcasts these days. And we've got a little documentary coming out tomorrow.
It's big, Dave. It's not little. Nothing little about it.
And I'm telling you, it's a big deal. I've been doing media all over the nation. They're wearing me out around here, and I'm about to do about 20 more hits tomorrow on it to promote it, and it's gonna be mammoth. I mean, I'm so excited about it. It's so well done. Borrowed Future: How Student Loans Are Killing the American Dream. The epic failure of the student loan program. You watch this you're going to go, every teenager in America needs to see this, and every parent of every teenager needs to see this so they grow a backbone and don't allow their kids to make some of the mistakes that people make all the time. 45 million Americans in student loan debt. That's a lot. Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah, well, I just talked to Seth Frotman the other day, who's featured in the documentary, and he was giving me the update on where things are at 2 years later, because we interviewed him back in 2019. And let me tell you, it's dismal. Not a lot has changed.
No.
The hope that people had, they're still hoping. They're waiting with bated breath for forgiveness and new legislation and the new president, and is he going to do what he said he was going to do? And we just want people to be free and to take control for themselves.
Yeah, if you wait on Washington to bless your home, you're going to be a loser your whole life. Your home has to be blessed by you and your hands and your work and your decisions and your critical thinking skills. That's what's going to happen that's real. So, yeah, and these are the people that get out of student loan debt. And the public student loan forgiveness program, 98% of those that apply for forgiveness, denied. People paid 10 years, work a job they wouldn't have worked. And 10 years later, 98% denied. That's called lying.
If anything else had that pass-fail rate, I mean, I wouldn't exist today.
Yeah, that's called lying to your constituents when the federal government makes you a promise that 98% of the people don't cash in on, can't cash in on, are denied to cash in on. It's a lie is what that is. It's just, it's criminal is what it is.
It's like trying to cancel Comcast. It's nearly impossible. Very few people are able to withstand.
Well, have you ever tried
to
cancel a Discover card? It's right there next to it. Yeah, that's it. That's the truth right there, man. So anyway, check it out. Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon Prime, and borrowedfuture.com. If you are a teacher and you would like to show this documentary to your teens or preteens, it's free for you as a teacher to show to your classroom. We're not going to charge you a dime, or college even. I don't care. Just tell me you're a teacher. Go to borrowedfuture.com and we will set you up with that. If you're a Sunday school teacher and you want to show it to your for teenagers and you want to show it to them, we want to cause a holy ruckus with this. It's time. It's time someone stood up and said, this is wrong. The actors are bad actors. There's so many villains, it was hard to tell the story.
Yeah.
A good story has one villain and one hero, and it is very difficult to tell the story.
It's filled with villains.
This one's it's like a bad Saturday morning cartoon that got out of control. Yeah, I mean it's a bad thing, but you won't be able to put it down. People that have watched it in the previews, oh man, they're going nuts.
You can't unsee it. At the end, you have to make a decision. You have to go, what do I believe about this? And am I going to support the system?
Exactly. Kimberly is in San Antonio. Hi, Kimberly. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How are you doing today?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
I'm a little nervous right now.
It's okay. We've never lost a patient.
Okay. Thank you. So we are an active duty family.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just have some questions. All my questions are related to our military lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my first question is going to be about the Service Members Civil Relief Act, how we can use that in our advantage. For us personally, we have 0% interest in all of our credit cards due to that act. And how can we use that in our advantage? That would be my first question. I can go into the others, but I don't know if you want to tackle these.
Well, the biggest thing there is that the Service Relief Act gives us two things. One is you've got this 0% that you're able to say, okay, 100% of what I pay on this credit card debt goes on the principal. So it's a real opportunity while apparently someone is not only active duty but deployed into a combat zone, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But it has varieties, but we have been participating for a few years already.
Okay, then you're in there. Good. So, yeah, so 100% of what you pay on these credit cards is going to get rid of them. So chop them up, and let's list them smallest to largest as far as the debt rate goes and attack them with a vengeance. The other part of the act that sometimes folks have to use, and we've used in financial coaching with the military for years, is that if you are behind on something, like a behind on a car payment or behind on rent or behind on a house payment, the creditor cannot foreclose or repossess on you because you're falling into that act until you guys get back and everybody's not deployed into a combat zone and get back active and so forth. But that's probably not going to apply to you. But the whole thing is when you got 0% instead of 18%, let's take advantage of that and use that extra. That same thing with those of you sitting on student loans right now. You got 0%. So let's just use this time not to sit around and twiddle our thumbs and go, oh, we don't have to be in a hurry. We have 0%. No, this is get in a hurry time.
Yeah. And that's what we're seeing. It reminded me of the student loan extended relief, where it's 0%, and people go, well, I'm going to take advantage of this. But the real way to take advantage of it is to pay off all your debt and get rid of it. So I don't know how much debt Kimberly has on this, or if she's just saying, how do I take advantage of this card going forward? There is no way to take advantage of debt. That's not really a gift.
Yeah, it takes advantage of you. Felicity is in Newark, New Jersey. Hi, Felicity. How are you?
Great. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So my husband and I are debt-free. We're currently about $30,000 into renting to own. It's an interest-free contract with the option to back out or to buy out at any time. It's through a close family friend of ours who's now looking to close his rental business. And while he's obviously still willing to carry through on our agreement contract, he approached us with the option of voiding the agreement we have to instead purchase a house for $1, both him and ourselves using his lawyer, and then essentially draw up a second agreement that was basically a personal loan between him and ourselves for the remainder of what we owe him on the rent to own. This would also be interest-free, but since we're doing him a favor as well as paying the lawyer fees, he would deduct our total amount by like $10,000 to $15,000. But my husband and I are just a little nervous. We're not sure if that's possible or smart to do, and what kind of tax transfer issues we would run into, since it would look like we paid $1 for the house when really we didn't.
Wow. You're not going to run into any problems. You may need to pay more recording fees than you would pay on $1, because that is going to be weird. You may want to assign an actual value, because in most states, I don't know how Jersey works, but in most states when you record the deed for the house, you're taxed on the amount of the sale at that time, the warranty deed, okay, which is your title. And so you're probably not going to want to try to pull that off at $1. That's going to create problems for you. But other than that, this sounds a little. Why does he not want a lien on the house? Why is he making it a personal loan?
It's just a close family friend. I mean, he's out.
I know, but there's no point. There's no point. That's just weird. It's not like it's not really doing you a favor, and it leaves him in a very, very weak position. Doesn't hurt you. Your position's fine. See, if you don't pay and he's got a lien on the house, he could foreclose on the house. You don't pay in this situation, he just has to sue you like it's an unsecured debt.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's no harm in what you're outlining. I would have an attorney draft it all. Be willing to pay some attorney's fees to make sure this is done the way it's described here. But it feels like he's hiding something from someone else, is what it feels like. He's trying to keep his money off the grid somehow. Because, of course, when you have a mortgage, it's recorded at the courthouse, a personal loan just between you and him. There's no public record of it. So it sounds like this guy's trying to get off the grid or something. I don't know. Be careful, because it's an unusual transaction. So I don't know that there's a rat, but there's hints of rats here. A little nose for the rat. national Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Adam and Olivia are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Great. How are you, Dave?
Better
Hi, Dave.
than we deserve.
Hi, George.
Hey.
Hi, George.
Where do you guys live?
Verona, New York.
Cool. Welcome to Nashville. And all the way here to do a debt-free scream. How much did you pay off?
$172,630.
Way to go. And how long did that take?
27 months.
All right. And your range of income during that time?
126,000 to 190,000.
Wow. Nice jump in 27 months. What do you guys do for a living?
I am a maintenance and facilities engineer at an aerospace company.
And I'm a project manager for a commercial millwork company.
Okay. So how does your income go up $70,000, $65,000 during 27 months?
We changed jobs.
Both got new jobs.
Both of you?
Yes.
Oh, wow. What precipitated that?
Wasn't
this.
happy where I was.
Just wanted more money.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And it was there, so we're going to go get it.
Correct.
Absolutely.
I like it. Good for you guys. What kind of debt was the $173,000?
We had a wide range. We had credit cards, student loans, personal loans. We had some medical debt, some previous marriage debt, and we paid off our house.
Our house.
Whoa! Look at the weird people. How old are you guys?
I'm 30.
37.
And a paid-for house.
Absolutely.
You are so weird. I love it. What's this house worth?
Right now, right around 200,000.
And you own it, baby. You own it. It's yours. Yeah.
And we
I
originally
love it.
bought it about 7 years ago for 40,000.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We've been flipping it since then.
Oh, my goodness. Well done.
So on top of paying off the debt, we've also done a few renovations.
Sounds like it. Sounds like a couple, yeah. Wow,
Looks
very
beautiful.
good.
I'm watching it on the screen here, and it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous renovations.
One of my side jobs was to design kitchens, so I was able to design ours and actually work in the wood shop to pay for the kitchen.
And I did
And
all the
build it.
construction.
You guys are incredible.
Yeah.
So what made you 27 months ago, you know what? Not only are we going to tackle all this debt, we're going to tackle the house too.
Well, honestly, it started, I had changed jobs back then from my first one out of college, and I had this a retirement account that I didn't know what to do with since I was changing companies. And we met with a financial advisor. Shout out to Michelle. Thank you so much, who introduced us to Dave Ramsey and his principles. And
wow.
the rest was history.
Just like that.
Just like that. We were on board from the start. He was a little hesitant when I wanted a financial advisor to come over. He was like, well, how much is this going to cost? But once we got done through the meeting, we were all in. There was never a fight to go on this plan.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. Way to go, guys. Excellent job. Wow. So you just plugged into the podcast or what?
Yes.
We watched a lot of them, watched a lot of YouTube videos. We just went to town on watching you.
Yeah, but a half an hour commute each way. So that was all it was on in the car.
I love it. Well, we are honored. Thank you. I'm glad we added value. You guys are incredible. Well done. I'm proud of you. Who was your biggest cheerleaders outside the two of you?
I would say Michelle was probably one of the biggest cheerleaders.
You're a financial advisor.
Correct.
Financial advisor. Our parents are obviously super proud of us, and our oldest son, Aiden, loved to see us color in our chart every week and was so happy and cheering us on and excited to get to that next line.
Yeah, what made you guys plow through this so quickly? I mean, you have a great income, but most people would go, we'll get this thing done. But you decided to do it in just over 2 years.
We sold a lot.
We did sell a lot. Just running the numbers through Excel spreadsheets, I was like, I think we could do this. And we just put our minds to it and did it. We took a lot of side jobs. Like she said, we sold off a lot of stuff. I sold my Corvette, a Porsche, a Jeep.
Whoa.
So. A Corvette and a Porsche.
So you said, you know what? It's worth it. I'm going to sacrifice, get rid of some of these toys, and I can have all the toys later on.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's a big deal. What did the Porsche and the Corvette sell for?
Not as much as you think. They were both fixer-uppers, and they were just going to be projects, and I just never got around to actually doing anything with them.
Okay, so they were actually going to be a money drain.
Correct.
Because of if a project car, you can spend some money on that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
But,
Okay, all of this sacrifice. You're working like crazy. You're selling everything. You're in the wood shop making your own cabinets. All this sacrifice. You've been busting it for 27 months. Was it worth it?
absolutely.
Very much so. And it's hard to get out of that mindset. It was hard to say, hey, we're gonna put this money aside just to travel down here for this. But I mean, we knew we wanted this the whole time, and so we made it happen.
Yeah, when you bust through the end of it, it's like, okay, what now? Because this feels like I have to slow down. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah. We enjoy watching our savings account go up, our retirement account go up, our 401ks, our Roth IRAs, everything. And it's kind of hard watching any of it go.
Yeah.
But still working hard to get that house finished.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'll get there. It's going to be amazing. Well done, you guys. Very well done. Excellent, excellent job. So what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Is track. Just like you said, but put a name on every single dollar. Just keep track of everything you spend, and don't be afraid to ask why. Why do we have to spend this? Do we really have to? Do we really need this?
Yeah, working together, being on the same page.
Yeah.
You guys do seem you can just almost an air of unity.
Yeah. I mean, they are so close together, they might fuse into one person just physically right now. I love it. It's such a key. Every time we see a couple like this, they're always holding hands, hugging. There's always this sense of unity that did your marriage grow during this journey in 27 months?
More than I ever thought.
It not only grew, it kind of divided a little bit and made a new one.
Oh, all right. There we go.
I like it. That's good stuff. All right, so you brought the kiddos with you to do the debt-free scream. What are their names and ages?
We have Aiden. He's 9. Mm-hmm. And this is Connor, the new one. He is 6 months.
All right, and that's who we were just discussing. Yeah. Yes. Way to go, Connor. You did it, man. Good job. All right, you can get free from Sherry there. Good. All right, that's fun. Good stuff. Good stuff. We got a copy of the Legacy Journey for you. That's the next chapter in your story. You're going to be every baby steps millionaires before you know it, if you're not already. Well done. Very well done. And a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give it away and pay it forward to somebody and get them started. And 27 months later, maybe they'll be standing here. You never know.
We would love that.
That's how this stuff gets spread. So thank you guys so much.
We're definitely looking forward to watching The Borrowed Future.
Ah, welcome. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to set you up with a free view of it. We're going to do that as part of the package you being here today.
That'll be perfect.
Awesome.
We'll take care of that for you.
Our oldest daughter's 17, and she's about ready to go to college next year.
Oh,
wow.
This will scare you straight right here. I'm just saying. Good work, you guys. Excellent work. All right, it's Adam and Olivia, Aiden and Connor. $173,000 paid off in 27 months. House and everything. Not even 40 years old. $126,000 to $190,000 income during that time. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free! Go, Connor.
There it is.
Go, Aiden. Go, Aiden. I'm sorry. Go, Aiden. Well done.
I think that baby knows he's debt-free. I can see it on his face.
Connor, I mean, Aiden does the countdown. This is good.
I could hear him. He didn't have a microphone, and we could hear him.
See, this is how a family tree's changed. Now, he may not remember a lot, but when he's 29, he'll remember that time his parents came and stood on a stage in Nashville and yelled because they'd sacrificed and worked like crazy to change their family tree. And when he's 29 out there walking around, he's going to be making completely different decisions because of this.
Yeah.
The modeling that you do before your children and involving them in this process is as important as you becoming wealthy. In terms of if you want to change your family tree, you can leave an idiot $10 million, they'll go through it. But if you raise children that aren't idiots, and because you modeled before them, and you know they'll win. Like one guy said the other day, I was on the Everyday Millionaire Hour. I said, "What'd you inherit from your family?" He said, "Work ethic."
Oh, I love that.
You know, character is more important to pass than money.
More is caught than taught, and he caught a lot watching his parents sacrifice for 27 months.
Way to go, Aiden.
Incredible.
Good job, man. Well done. Good stuff. This is The Ramsey Show. Well, we've all been hearing the crazy stats around the Great Resignation. One study says 55% of Americans are looking for a new job. That's over half of you. Another report says that 1 in 3 workers are looking for more meaningful work. If you're one of those folks looking for a job right now, you know the job market is really competitive. In that sea of talent, passion, and experience, you can stand out if you're clear on what your strengths and purpose are when it comes to your career. Ken Coleman's brand new book, From Paycheck to Purpose, helps you get a grip on your purpose, and it gives you the proven plan and clear path to doing the work you love. This year taught a lot of people that you don't have to settle for just a job. You can make a real impact when you're doing work that you're actually passionate about. Pre-order Ken's book, From Paycheck to Purpose, today and get over $100 in free bonus items to coach you through your job search process, including free resume templates and a free video course with advice to help you nail down a job interview. Get your copy From Paycheck to Purpose today at RamseySolutions.com. We appreciate you guys listening. George Camel, Ramsey personality, host of the new podcast, The Fine Print, is my co-host today. Darren is with us in Chicago. Hi, Darren. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well. How are you guys doing?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
I just want to first say, just thank you guys for all that you do. Really appreciate you and all your team there.
Well, thank you.
So my question is, so my wife is an interior designer right now, and she's wanting to start her own interior design business in the next few years. And I was just wondering if I could get some advice on how I could be, just kind of a better encourager to help motivate her, and just kind of be that support person behind her, when sometimes she does kind of have, a lack of confidence in her ability to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I think it's awesome that you are calling in on behalf to want to show that level of support. How serious is she about this business right now? Is it just kind of a dream?
It is a dream, but she's, working towards to be able to do that. Right now she works for a pretty big firm, architecture firm. And so, she's been getting more into, reading different materials, getting into like Christie's material, and just trying to set herself up whenever she is ready to kind of make that leap. I know you guys always say don't try to kind of get the boat a little bit closer to the dock before kind of making that leap. So she's trying to kind of position herself to kind of start dabbling in that more and more.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are what we call makers, that make that often make the error of because they're good at doing a thing, they think they need to do a business of that. They're good at cooking, and so they're good chefs, so they need to run a restaurant. Cooking is a different skill set than running a restaurant is. They're good at being a web developer, and so they need to open a digital web development company. No, it's a different skill set. They're good at sales, and so they need to be promoted to sales manager. No, it's a different skill set to manage salespeople than to actually be one, and so on. And so you're a good painter, house painter, and so you want to open a house painting business. Well, it's a different skill set to run a business than it is paint houses. So that's the first area I would encourage her in, is not to recognize how good she is at home decorating. I think that's already established. She's probably pretty confident about that. Where her lack of confidence and her fear will come up is wise fear, in that she realizes she's getting ready to become an executive in business and doesn't know how. And so now dive into Christie's materials and learn how to run a business. And then when she's learning the different components of business from EntreLeadership, from the business boutique brand from Christie, then you can do any. I couldn't spell digital 5 years ago. Now the company I run is basically a digital company, and I'm the CEO of a $300 million company. So, but I sit in the meetings with these digital people, and I don't even know what they're saying sometimes, and I own the place. But I don't have to have the digital skills. I do have to have the executive skills to herd the cats towards a common goal and a vision, and setting that and keeping everybody in their lane, and listening to the experts, and going with learning enough to where I can make a good solid decision. And so executive skills are gathering up people to do things you don't know how to do and helping everybody go in the right direction.
Yeah, part of that is figuring out, is this a hobby? Is this something I can do on the side and I still get joy from that? Versus when you do it full-time, and this happened to me with music. I tried to go in full-time into music and realized, you know what? I'm running a business, and I don't want to be running a business. I got into it because I love making music.
Yeah.
And so that's something that she needs to dig into, and maybe she does it on the side for now. And as it grows, she may say, you know what? I do want to be my own boss. I want to take this thing full-time. And that's when you can come alongside her and support her with anything she needs.
Yeah, and you know, so the encouragement is going to be, you don't know how to do that, so what? Most executives don't. They don't know how to do the thing that they run necessarily. And so the key to running a business is not to be an expert on the thing. The key to running a business is being an expert on getting people that are smarter than you in certain areas to all work together in concert. You are the orchestra conductor. You don't have to play the violin, but you do have to get the violin to come in at the proper time with the oboe.
Yeah. And Darren,
notice I worked oboe into this.
I'm impressed. That was one of those words I didn't know that you'd work in today, Dave.
Yeah, I didn't think, when I got up this morning, I thought, I'm going to work oboe into the first hour of the show today.
My bingo card is now full.
Yes.
So, Darren, what I'd love to do is gift your wife a ticket to the Business Boutique live stream. She can tune in from Chicago, and it's happening this weekend. Dave's going to be speaking there, and I think this will give her some real encouragement and really put down on paper what this dream is, what it's going to take to get there, and then at least you know. There's some facts on the ground where you can go, all right, is this something we're going to do? What is the next step I can take? And if it's confidence thing, Christy is a master at that, and she's going to have a little bit more, if not a lot more confidence after viewing this event. So we'll have Kelly pick up and make sure that she has access to that live stream, and maybe you watch it with her. That would be a cool thing to do to support her.
Yeah. Christy has a talk on fear that even fear is afraid of.
I believe that.
You don't mess with Christy. She's a beast. In the best kind of way. Pretty incredible speaker, pretty incredible communicator. So, if you're worried about the fear in the face of what's going on in business, you need to tune into Business Boutique this weekend. You don't want to miss her. And I'll be speaking. Dr. John Deloney, several of the Ramsey folks will be there, and the lineup is off the charts cool. But, of course, Christy is the star. So, open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. George, it is interesting. There's something that occurs in the human spirit, and it goes back to starting and running your own business like that, but it also has to do with any area of your life that you don't know something about, you can learn about it.
Yeah. Information
is accessible. You can, I've never been good with money. Okay. Get a free, get a free trial to Ramsey Plus and start working your way through Financial Peace University. We'll show you how to. It's built for people that didn't know how to handle money. It's not built for people with an MBA. I mean, MBAs go through it all the time, but if you've got a PhD in finance, you're going to be going, well, this is very primitive. Well, because the stuff that you do doesn't work. So we had to teach people stuff that works. And so, but I mean, I can't tell you when I got married how many marriage books I started reading, because I discovered I'm pretty bad at this. I don't know how to do it. And then when I started having kids, I'm like, oh, they didn't come with a manual? No instruction when I brought them home from the hospital, nobody to teach me. I got to learn how. I mean, training a dog, you got to learn from somebody, because I don't, and so the point is, you can learn almost anything if you want to bad enough.
Yeah. And I found that. I mean, I've got so many books sitting on the shelf that I thought I want to learn about, and I found that what I care about is what I invest my time into. And so if you're big into interior designing, you're going to figure out a way to do it. You're going to watch YouTube clips, you're going to read books, you're going to talk to mentors, and you're going to figure out a way to do it. But you have to want it badly enough.
You got a fire in your belly.
Yep.
And then you can learn anything now. The money, I mean, it's accessible. Information is accessible, and you don't have to be a genius. So don't ever say, I'm not good at blank blank. You can say, I choose not to be good at blank blank, but you're not good at it because you chose not to learn more about it. Whatever it is. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us, America. George Camel, Ramsey personality, host of the Fine Print podcast, among others, is my co-host today. Open phones as we talk to you about your life and your money. This is a weird talk radio show because it's about you. It's not about me. Not about it. Not even about George. Shocking.
I thought that was going to be the answer, Dave.
Shocking. It's all about George. No, it's not. No, sorry, George. Not about me.
My
all
feelings
about
aren't hurt.
you guys. So it's weird because most talk radio is about the guy on the microphone, and we're not the hero in this story. You are. We're just showing you how to do it. Open phones at 888-825-5225, Asheville, North Carolina. Glenn is with us. Hey, Glenn, how are you?
You're doing great, Dave. Thanks for taking my call. I really appreciate all you do.
You too, sir. How can we help?
Our family's been very blessed in that our children are registered with, through my wife, are part of a Native American tribe. Mm-hmm. And so they pay money into, I guess it's kind of a trust fund for them that they can't access till they're 18, and then they disperse it for a few years after that. Mm-hmm. We have 7 children, and they're all registered. So my approximations, the oldest is 16 right now, and my estimates are that when they turn 18, it'll be in the neighborhood of about $250,000 that they'll each be getting.
Each?
So each, correct, yeah. Mm-hmm. So my question for you was, I mean, I have some ideas, but I wanted your opinion on what kind of things should we be doing in the home to teach them about money now, as well as make sure that once they get it, they don't squander it. Because we know a lot of other people that are in the same boat, and, you know, they buy cars and end up in a ditch in a few years. And, you know, it can be pretty sad. I know it's not $10 million, but to us, it's pretty substantial amount of money.
Oh, it is substantial. It is. And this happens a lot. And we've worked with a lot of tribal situations because the money has turned out to not be a blessing, because it's caused people, as you said, to fall into addiction, to fall into a lack of a work ethic because they think they've got it made without working because they're on the tribal dole. And it's had a socioeconomic effect that I don't think anybody really saw. It was an unintended consequence across the board. Right. Certainly certain individuals have used it to be a blessing, and others it's really damaged their life, which is really sad. And so we've seen that. Yeah. So you guys this is probably what, Cherokee?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Been there. Been to that Harris. Yeah. So I was born in Marable, so Cherokee, North Carolina is just up over the hill from us.
Not too far. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been around this my whole life, but it's just become extremely profitable because of the casinos in the last few decades for a lot of the tribes. So anyway, all that to say, it's a little bit like growing up in a wealthy family, only the family didn't earn the money.
Right.
And so you have to guard your kids against the dangers of wealth, which are sloth, addiction, and misbehavior. Sloth meaning laziness, okay? And so we had to teach the Ramsey kids, as an example, growing up, that they're entitled to nothing. Don't talk to me about entitled. A Ramsey kid get jacked up growing up if they start acting entitled, and especially if they start acting like my dad's on the radio, so I get to do so-and-so. I really jack you up. You start playing the Dave card. Rachel can tell you stories from her childhood that left scars. And so because I was not going to have our kids turn out as a reality show because we built wealth, and I wanted quite the opposite. The wealth needs to be a blessing. And the money's not the problem. The problem is how you react to it. And so what you have to start teaching your kids as early as possible is that this is This is not you hit the tribal lottery. This is you have a tremendous responsibility. With great blessing comes great responsibility. And I want you, instead of feeling like you scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl and like you did something fancy, because you hadn't done nothing. You just hit the DNA lottery. That was it. That's all you've done.
Right.
You're entitled to nothing here. So instead, you need to take this money and see it as a responsibility to your family, your own future family, to yourself, to your community. And so wealth is a responsibility, and I want you to feel the weight of that. We did that through a spiritual lens, saying we don't own it. God owns it. We're managing it for him. So we have the responsibility to be faithful, to be trustworthy, worthy of trust in this. And so there's going to be a lot of dad speeches in your house if you're wise. and teach them to work. Teach them to act like this money's not there. If they act like the money's not there, they'll be just fine, and that money then can be a blessing. And they can hold it with an open hand, with a generous hand. They can hold it with a hand towards the future, all of those kinds of things. And so, but it can be done. You can teach a kid in a rich family work ethic. You can teach them integrity. You can teach them character. You can teach them delayed pleasure. You can teach them the generosity. But where this all falls down is when it becomes very all about me, all about me, all about me. That's the entitled, arrogant mentality that sometimes in a sense, it's like a trust fund baby, right?
Right.
Yeah. So Smart Money, Smart Kids is the book that Rachel and I did that was a #1 bestseller that addresses how to raise kids and teach them how to handle money. We talk about this kind of stuff in there. I'll send you a copy of it. George, what do you want to add to that? You've watched Rachel and Daniel and Denise around this place.
Yeah, there's zero entitlement and all work ethic. And what I've seen, Glenn, is that money is going to make them more of whoever they are. And so whatever they are at age 18, well, that's how they're going to handle that money when they get that $250K. So what I want you to do is raise them in the best way you can. Walk them through the principles of Smart Money, Smart Kids. Have them go through Financial Peace University, maybe as a family. And then you can start to go, hey, what are your goals? This money can then flow through that framework that you've worked so hard to build to where they go, cool, we're going to cash flow school. We're not going to take out any debt. We're going to get ourselves a car. We're going to have a down payment for the house. We're going to have a fully funded emergency fund. And what that's going to do is catapult them into their adult life. While their peers are hanging behind with all these student loans and car payments, they are able to have a paid-for house at 24.
Yeah, here's the deal. They can be college educated with zero debt and be millionaires by 28 with the numbers you gave me.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I told them. I said, you can work because you want to, not because you have to, at a very young age.
The rest of your life, and you can learn the real value of money, which is not what it does for me, but what it does for others.
Yeah.
It's the most valuable thing a kid can ever learn. And sometimes it takes us kids till we're 50 to learn that one. And your kids don't have that option because if they wait till 50, this is going to screw up their lives.
Yeah.
And it's a scary, scary thing. I'm glad you brought it up. I've not answered that question here on the air. I've answered it behind closed doors with a lot of discussions with tribal leaders because they're facing this, because it's created in some cases, not every case, but there's too many times it's created kind of a welfare state mentality rather than the blessing that it should have been.
Yeah.
Because the tribes are, they're dispersing the money to the tribe. That's the money they're making in the gambling industry, which is a boatload of money. Boatload of money. And so I'm glad the young men and young ladies are being blessed. It's a good thing. Let's just make sure it is that they understand they're blessed so that they can be a blessing.
If you're ready to get out there and find a job you love, then you need to hear this. Job hunting can be stressful and time-consuming, but my friends at ZipRecruiter have made the whole job search way easier. ZipRecruiter is rated the #1 job site in the U.S. by G2, and it's free. So how does it work? First, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Then create a free profile and let their technology do the hard work by finding and sending you jobs that are a great fit. And get this, ZipRecruiter pitches your profile to companies whose jobs match your skills and experience. If someone from that company likes your profile, they can personally invite you to apply for the job. So if you're ready for an easier job search, check out ZipRecruiter. Sign up for free right now at ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Sign up today, absolutely free, and let ZipRecruiter work for you.
George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. The last 24 months have been, a lot, hasn't it? A lot of worry, a lot of wondering what's going to happen next, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of cray-cray out there. And maybe that's how you feel about your money. You're tired, you're stuck, you're stretched thin. It doesn't have to be this way. The weird thing is even in a wicked, weird environment, if you have a plan, there's a sense of calm and a success level that changes, because a plan gives you confidence when everything else is out of control. We teach you the plan, and have for decades, in a class called Financial Peace University. Almost 10 million people have been through this class, and it'll teach you everything you need to know to save money, get out of debt, become wealthy, and be outrageously generous. You can stream the lessons on your own, or you can even go to class with other people and get support that way, or both. Then you'll put the plan into practice with the premium version of our Every Dollar budgeting app, the world's best budgeting app. It syncs up with your bank, and you can track your spending and see where your money goes. You get all of this only with a Ramsey Plus membership. You don't have to stay exhausted. You don't have to be overwhelmed. You can win with money. To start your free trial of Ramsey Plus, text TRIAL to 33789. Text TRIAL to 33789. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Riley is in Minnesota. Hi, Riley. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. How are you doing, Dave?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Okay, so my question is kind of a two-parter, so I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible. When I took personal finance my junior year of high school, my personal finance teacher actually showed us your classes for her class to help prove, like, reinforce her point. And when I was a junior, I was not very smart, and I thought you were actually quite arrogant, and I didn't take your advice, but now my grandparents recommended I start listening to you again. And now I'm feeling really arrogant and stupid.
The table's turned.
Well, that's okay. Me too, brother. I understand. That's exactly what I would have done in high school. I like you. If I had watched me in high school, I would have been making fun of me.
That's exactly what I was doing, unfortunately, because now I feel like I've put myself in quite a bit of a pickle.
What'd you do?
Well, to start, this is going to make your jaw drop. I don't use debit card or cash. I strictly use credit cards.
Okay. What's your question for today? Let's try it that way.
My question for today? Okay. I guess, like, for the first part would be with how I use... Actually, I'll get to the big problem is I am 20 years old. And I bought my house when I was 19 years old on a 5% down payment and a 30-year loan.
Okay.
And I was wondering what should I do?
Are you having any trouble making the payments?
No, that's not the problem. It's just I've only been watching your videos again for about 5 days now, and you recommend doing a 15%. Your 15-year loan, my bad.
So what is your income?
My income? Do you want that from my main job or from all sources?
All sources.
About $40,000.
Good for you.
A year.
Good for you. Okay. Well, here's the thing. What's the interest rate on your mortgage?
3% fixed.
Okay. You don't have to do anything with this mortgage. You just need to get yourself on a plan, and you can pay extra on it without refinancing it. And if you pay a 30 like a 15, it pays off in 15. So you haven't ruined your life. You're okay.
Okay, yeah, that was just my biggest concern, is because when I bought the house, I thought of it in more of a mathematical thought process, I guess you could say it, because the house is I bought it under market value because the area I'm in, the houses are roughly $150,000 to $250,000. I got it for $110,000. And I figured if I spread it out over the next 30 years, with inflation, that $112,000 will be $200 and something thousand, and the house plus interest will be $160,000. So I thought if I paid out the full 30 years, I'll end up saving money through inflation, because 30 years from now, I'm going to be paying the same amount, but with money that's technically worth less than it is now.
Yeah, but not really, and here's why. Okay, the house is going to go up in value due to inflation, whether it has a mortgage or not. These are independent equations. These equations are not interconnected. And so you don't have to have a mortgage in order for the house to go up in value. And so what if you had it paid for and it went up in value? Oh, now we've got the formula on how to be a millionaire.
Yeah. And to the credit card thing, he wanted to make it clear that he uses no debit cards and cash, only credit cards. There's other pieces to this equation that you've got to figure out. Obviously, the mortgage is not sinking you financially, but I am worried about your mindset when it comes to debt. And so this is something I want you to really take a hard look at and go, what other areas am I willing to have payments on? Because right now you're willing to have the credit card payment. I don't know if you're paying it off. I don't know what other kind of debt you may have. But I think we need to change our mindset here, because you're 20 years old and you're good at math, but you're not great at managing money. And so I want you to get better at the second part, and then the math will help you going forward. So you're doing great, Riley. Obviously, you made a little ouchie here, but it's not sinking you, and your income is only going to go up. And as it does, I want you to pay that mortgage off. I don't know why you want it to hang around for 30 years. You made it very clear. You're like, well, in 30 years. No, I want this thing gone in 5, 10, 15 years, because you have a life to live. And I don't know about you, but I don't want a mortgage when I'm 50 years old.
Well, you're getting ready to be done with yours.
Yeah, I'm 32, and we're paying it off in the next 4 or 5 months, and I'm saying sayonara. And I wish I was like you, Riley. I was really good at math and really bad at money management. And once I realized that there's a difference between the two, it changed everything. So go through something like Financial Peace University. Maybe now that your arrogance has gone away, maybe it'll stick this time, and you'll listen to Grandma and Grandpa, because they've got a good head on their shoulders.
It's just common sense. You're fine, man. You didn't do anything that most of us haven't done or wouldn't do. The trick is to learn and change, because continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. Mark is in Peoria. Hi, Mark. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thanks for taking the call, Dave.
Sure. What's up?
Hey, I'm 60. My wife's 65. 5 years I'd like to be retired or semi-retired. I have no pension, no 401, no so-called retirement fund, but I have accumulated, and that's my business. We've got 32 rental properties, and I'm in the process of selling them. A month ago, I sold one of my last ones I sold. I took that money, paid the last 3 mortgages off. A week ago, closed on another one. So I've got about $70,000 sitting in the bank, and I've always been confident in the properties that I've bought, and I know the business, but I would like to start buying mutual funds, and I'm out of my comfort zone. And I guess I'm terrified to, I've watched American Greed over the years, and you've always talked about Smart Vestor Pros that you have. But that being said, I'm out of my comfort zone, and I'm a little skeptical or scared of starting to put my money in mutual funds.
Wow. How much do these 32 houses sell for? What'd you get? You should have more than $70,000.
Well, no. Well, I mean, I'm in the Midwestern part of the country.
All right, I tell you what, you hang on through this break. When we come back, we'll talk about it and see what's going on and see if we can help you with this process. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. We're talking with Mark in Peoria, Illinois. He just sold 32 rentals, thinking of putting the money into mutual funds, but he knows real estate at 65 years old, is comfortable with that, and is scared about mutual funds. Is that a fair summary of what you told me so far?
Yes, I haven't sold 32. I have 32.
Oh, I misunderstood.
The last few I've sold have been in the $60,000 to $70,000 range.
Okay.
They're nice, small, well-maintained bungalows or ranches, usually rent to.
So why are you making the decision to get out of the real estate business and into the mutual fund business?
Well, I'm tired of it. With 32 properties, there's a lot of maintenance. I'm a one-man show. I pretty much do everything. I've had one person help me throughout the years, and right now I haven't been able to get anybody to help me in the last 6 or 9 months. There's just nobody out there that I can hire.
Mm-hmm. So you've got 32 individual single-family homes?
Yeah, a couple, two, three, a couple duplexes and 3 units mixed in there, but majority of them are single-family houses.
What's the total value of the whole portfolio?
Which is just about everything, including my house that I live in, is about $2.1 million.
Good for you. Well done. Well done.
Well, thank you.
Well, I'm not sure that if I were in your shoes, I would make the leap to 100% mutual funds from 100% real estate. What I would consider is some different kinds of real estate. You're in the highest hassle factor type of real estate, and if you're gonna, you're talking about selling the entire portfolio off, right?
Well, I'm thinking 3/4. Yes, I want to really slow down.
I might consider buying a commercial property that's income producing, whether it be an office building or something that it has a lot less maintenance issue and a lot less hassle with the tenant issue. The number of times, I've got several of both, and the number of times I get a call from a commercial building versus we get a call. I don't get a call, but our team does, our real estate team does, versus the number of times we get a call off a single family home is, commercial is just about 1/10 of the hassle, and so you could take 3/4 of these, 20 of these houses, 25 of these houses, and convert them into a different kind of real estate if you wanted to. If you don't want to, it's okay. As far as mutual funds go, it's just like real estate. The first time you bought a piece of real estate, you didn't know what you were doing. It was scary.
Right.
The more you did
it. Real easy.
Yeah, the more you did it, the more you became familiar with it, the more you studied it, the more you knew the neighborhoods, the more confident you became in real estate because of your knowledge level. And so mutual funds are going to be the same way. Click on SmartVestor at RamseySolutions.com. Get with a SmartVestor Pro. They have the heart of a teacher. That's why we use that measure as one of the ways we vet them whether we will endorse them or not. They have to have the heart of a teacher, because I don't want people putting money in something they don't understand, because you are always scared then. So you need to begin the process of learning a whole new type of investing and just work on it and just learn. And you can wade in. You don't have to go all in at one time. There's nothing driving this except you're just tired of fooling with rental property.
Yeah, and hopefully, I don't know that his income, if all of these rentals are producing that income, but if you get rid of 3/4 of your rentals, that might be 3/4 of your income. So just be thinking about that if it's tied up in mutual funds.
Well, in mutual funds, you can pull the income off.
Yeah.
I mean, the income, it can produce, you put $2 million or $1 million in mutual funds, it should produce $100,000 a year.
Grow at 10, 12%.
Yeah, you don't have to leave the growth in there. You can pull it off. So he can live off of the income there just as well. But the truth is, the real estate's going to make more money than the mutual funds, but it does have a higher hassle factor. It has more to do. And you've got to get out of the business of doing the maintenance yourself. That's just not a good long-term plan. That just steals your joy. It just, when you start out, it's like kind of cool because I got a hammer on my belt and all this, but, real quick, that crap gets old. I know how to do it all, but I'm not doing it all. All right, let's go to Jordan and Lee in Albany, New York. They are debt-free. Leah. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey, doing good.
How much have you paid off?
So we paid off $105,000 in about 3 years.
Good for you. And your range of income during that 3 years?
So we started off at $40,000 and we wound up at $117,000 at the end.
Good for you. Wow. What do y'all do for a living?
Well, I'm a dietitian.
And then I'm a special education teacher.
Cool. Well, you definitely increased your income during this time. What was the $105,000 worth of debt?
So we had a loan to Leah's parents. We had a loan on a BMW. We had Leah's student loans, and then we also had my student loans.
Whoa. Okay. And making $40,000.
Yeah, to start with.
Yeah.
We were working with one income at the time.
Yeah, and that Beamer's just looking at you in the driveway.
Yeah, it was nice, but it wasn't that nice.
Yeah, really. So what happened 36 months ago that put you guys on this journey?
Well, we got engaged, really, is sort of where that boiled up. I had known about you for years, and when marriage was on the table, it was time to get serious with the finances.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Who had the Beamer?
Jordan did.
Who had the most student loans?
Jordan as well.
Also me, yep.
She's very
quick to point out. He'd already been paying them off for a while.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
I was still accumulating when we got married.
Okay, good. Very good.
How'd you get connected to our plan?
Well, I had heard about you when I was in college, just listening to Christian radio, and your show would pop on every now and then, and I found it fascinating. So I didn't necessarily take all the principles and apply them, but I listened to the advice, and then when time came to get serious about it, I knew where to turn.
Wow. Way to go, you guys. Wow. So what did you do to get out of debt? What do you tell people the secret to getting out of debt is?
Well, the first thing, we paid off our parents' debt first, and then we sold the Beamer.
That'll do it. That'll do it. So
Yeah,
are
so,
the parents,
going
are
all-
both sets of parents off in the background just cheering you on?
Certainly, yeah.
Yep. We had a little bit of skepticism, but also a little bit of cheering on.
Okay.
Healthy mix.
That's a good thing.
Exactly.
That's good. Who are your biggest cheerleaders?
So I'd like to give a shout out to my brother Robbie, who was definitely a cheerleader in the process and is going through the same process himself.
All right.
Yeah, and then other than that, we cheered each other on and we kept each other honest with it.
Yeah.
And fueled it that way.
Well, congratulations on your success. We're really proud of you. We're cheering you on for sure. Well done.
Thank you.
How's it feel now that you're free?
It feels good. I was expecting almost to have more freedom with money, but there's also goals that we have now, the next baby steps. So I don't just get to spend my money on whatever. But
Yeah. But cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice, right? So
they lived it.
There we go. This is real. I love it, you guys. Well done. Yeah, you'll get whatever car you want later. You drive like no one else later, you can drive like no one else. You live like no one else later, you can live and give like no one else. So you paid a price to win. Congratulations. Will you go back in debt?
No, never.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Had all this fun you want then. Good. Well, way to go, you guys. We're very, very proud of you. Got a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away and encourage someone to get their journey started. And we've also got a copy of the Legacy Journey. And that's for you guys because that's the next chapter in your story to change your whole lives, your family tree. You're in the process of doing that. Very well done. You'll be baby steps millionaires before we know it. You'll be calling in to talk about that. So congratulations. All right, Jordan and Leah in Albany, New York, $105,000 paid off in 36 months, making 40 to 117. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! You gotta love it. Well done, you guys. Well done. This is the Ramsey Show. George Camel Ramsey, personality, host of the new podcast on the Ramsey Networks called The Fine Print. 10 episodes of things that you might or might not know are not a good idea, and George will explain it to you. The one that came out this week is on
credit scores, the dirty truth.
The dirty truth of the dirty FICO score.
Oh.
Filthy dirty. Filthy, 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 filthy. All right, check it out, guys. You'll be amazed. It's a great podcast. I have enjoyed it on my walks and runs in the mornings. I get to listen to a lot of George, and he does a great job. All right, here we go. Lee is in St. Louis. Hi, Lee. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Lee. Hey, Dave. How's it going?
Great, man. What's up?
Hey, so my wife and I own a small catering business. We do a lot of big corporations. We go to places like Walmart and FedEx, and we've been pretty successful with it for the past 2 years. And we're looking to buy some ground and build a house. And I was just curious on what your take is on buying ground versus how much to spend versus building a house.
Well, when the whole thing is done, the mortgage that you end up with does not need to be more than a fourth of your take-home pay on a 15-year fixed rate. And the ratio of ground to house can vary. And you know, if you're buying a big tract of ground, obviously that you're probably going to have a higher ratio of land cost versus house than you would if you bought a simple lot and built on it. A subdivision lot generally is going to be around 20% of the total price. If you buy, a standard subdivision lot, if you spend, $100,000 on a house, on a lot, you're going to drop about $500,000. You're going to have a $500,000 project total. So about $400,000 more on the house. That's a fairly standard ratio, but it's not a rule, and there's nothing wrong with it being different. If you wanted to buy a big tract of ground and build a small house on it because you wanted a farm type setting, there's nothing wrong with that at all. That doesn't mean you did some.
So we're quite a bit of ways out of St. Louis, and so we're going to be buying like a 3-acre tract of woods, and then reworking the ground and building our dream home on there.
Cool. Good.
Yeah. So we're hoping to pick up the land for about $60,000, and then build our house on that. So I know, the ratio between land and house.
I mean, what are you thinking you're going to spend on the house, on the construction?
We're hoping, between, $400,000, I think, is what we're going to be comfortable with after getting the land.
So that's about a 20% ratio. Again, you're not far off of that.
Yeah.
So you're a little higher on that, but it's not the end of the world. Everything you're saying is fine. I mean, in some cases, you may be you're in an area where you're far enough out that the land cost has gone down. You have 3 acres for $60,000 anywhere in America. That's a pretty good deal, you know. And so, whereabouts outside of St. Louis are you?
Effingham, Illinois.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got an affiliate there. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. So we're looking to buy a little tract of land and start our dream home.
Absolutely. I don't see any reason not to do it, as long as when you're finished, $460,000 is on a mortgage on a 15-year, with depending on how much cash you put into the deal. But your net mortgage cannot be more than a fourth of your take-home pay. Should not be more than a fourth of your take-home pay on a 15-year fix, because otherwise you end up house poor.
Yeah, and we experienced that. We did an episode on the fine print on the housing gold rush, and we talked to people who got into these houses. We've taken calls where people go, Dave, I'm 50% of my take-home pay is going towards this mortgage, and it's crushing me. So it really comes down to the ratios and the math on this, where you can breathe and you have margin to attack your other goals and invest and give and do all these things to where the house payment isn't bearing down on you.
It's a big deal. All right, Matthew's with us in Little Rock, Arkansas. Hi, Matthew. How are you?
Doing well. How are you, sir?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Oh, not a lot. Just want to start off by thanking you and the team for everything y'all do. A few years ago, I was able to make a jump into doing my dream business from my day job, and I would have never been in the position to do that if it weren't for the principles y'all teach. So the value all y'all bring is awesome, and I'm forever grateful.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Down to my question. My wife and I have a 3-year-old son. We are starting to want to talk about a college fund getting together. We're wondering about the difference between a 529 plan and a custodial account. Both my wife and I have been to college, however, kind of went the budget route. And if my son ever did want to do anything outside of college, business-oriented like we do, I would want him to be able to convert that. And I was just curious on your thoughts of a 529 versus the custodial account.
Well, even as mad as we are about the student loan debt and some of the ridiculous decisions people are making in the education world, we're not against education around here. And so, there's no shame in going into the trades at all. And sometimes a diesel mechanic, a welder can make more than somebody with a master's degree in sociology right now. And so, you have to be careful about your decisions on your career path and what you spend to become whatever it is you're going to become. And so there's no shame in any of that. All of those are valid careers. You've got to decide that. But I will tell you this, spending some money on knowledge is going to be a good thing for this kid. Whether it's a classic higher education 4-year degree, or whether it's a community college, or whether it's an associate's degree, or whether it's a trade school of some kind that they're plugging into. So all of that can be used for the 529. The 529 grows tax-free. The custodial does not.
Gotcha.
That's the big difference. The custodial does have an interesting feature in that you control the money until they're 21. You do not in a 529.
Interesting. Okay.
You control it only until they're 18 in the 529. And so if during that 3-year period of time they continue to have no brains, then you can have more say in it if it's a custodial account. When our kids were growing up, the 529s and ESAs were not there, so we did custodial accounts.
Okay.
And so I'm not afraid of them. And since it's basically the mutual fund, people don't know what that means. Anytime you open up a bank account in a kid's name of any kind, mutual fund or otherwise, it's a custodial account, because you cannot do contracts until you're 18, so you cannot open an account. So basically, you're opening an account in their name, but you are the custodian. You're the one doing the transaction. And so if you open a savings account at the bank, if your 16-year-old has a checking account at the bank, it has you on it as a custodian, because they cannot legally do that in any state. You cannot do contracts in the state. So when you open an account, you're entering into a contract. So these are all custodial accounts. But when you open a custodial account with a mutual fund company, the money is in the kid's name, technically from a tax standpoint. And so until it makes enough money to go past their standard deduction, there's no taxes on the account. So the account can grow to pretty good size, because it's not going to make enough return to even be taxable. So it's going to grow tax-free for the first big chunk of time. The custodial account will. But the 529, I like the fact that it points them towards knowledge and points them towards education, because even as mad as we are about student loans and the stupidity in the higher education world, we still want to point people towards education, higher education, trade school education, education of some kind. No education is not the answer to the student loan problem.
Yeah, and with the ESA or the 529, I love that tax-free growth, and you can pass it on. It can go to a different family member. There's a lot of things you can do with that, even if they don't go the traditional route. But that growing from 3 years old to 18, that's a massive growth, even if you're putting in a little chunk of change every year, maybe $1,000, $2,000, 15 years.
So if you're watching this kid and as he ages, he's less and less likely to be higher ed, more and more likely to be starting a business or something else, you may want to divert and put less into the 529 and open a custodial as its twin sister to run with it. That would be fine, to have some money in each. But there's something positive about going, this is your college fund, this is your college fund. You're brainwashing them the whole time they're going to college. This is your college fund, this is your college fund, this is your college fund. Mine looked at their college fund and helped me calculate the mutual funds when they were 12 and 10. And so there's kind of this assumption that, well, we must be going to college. And so it's a good thing.
And
I'm glad that my 3 kids and I and my wife all have 4-year degrees. I think that's a positive thing. You just want to do education in a smart way where we've somewhat lost our minds in this country.
There was a lot in that sigh, and you'll find out why when Borrowed Future launches tomorrow as a feature full-length film.
Yeah, we got this documentary coming out. Check it out on Apple TV, Google Play, and
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Thank you very much, George. And borrowedfuture.com. You can rent it there as well. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, this is James, senior producer for The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? And a lot of those people listen on one of our 600 plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, head to theramseyshow.com.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where Dad is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us, America. We are so glad you are here. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. George Camel joins me as my co-host today. He is Ramsey personality and host of many of our podcasts on the Ramsey Network, including the new one, The Fine Print, which is extremely popular. Be sure you check it out. A new episode dropped this week on the credit score debacle.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. Yeah, anytime you can do something where everyone in America thinks they're measuring their money by your score, you've done a big job.
It's impressive.
It is impressive.
I mean, when you were growing up, that was not a thing. People weren't measuring their lives against a number.
Yeah, and now they are. Dee is with us. Dee is in Kansas City. Hi, Dee. How you doing?
Hey, Dave. I'm doing great. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Well, it's a little overwhelming. Today I just got a check that we inherited just right under $2 million.
How much?
And $2 million.
$2 million. Wow.
Yeah,
Who left you this?
Well, my mom and dad. But my dad worked really, really hard and lived very conservatively, and you would have never known it growing up.
Wow.
Or way very long ago, really, what the value.
How long ago did he pass?
He passed about a little over a year, and then my mom just passed just not very long ago.
Oh, so. Wow, right together. How long were they married?
Yeah. Oh, goodness. 60 plus years.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm sorry for your loss. It leaves a big hole in your life.
It's just a lot to take in, and we just want to be wise. It's just a lot all at once.
Yeah, it is.
You get all kinds of financial people that try to tell you do this, do that, and my head's spinning, to be honest. We've worked hard, my husband and I. My husband's retired, and he's 62, and I'm 57, and I work part-time.
What is your net worth before you got this check?
We have about, 1.4 million.
Okay, so you were already millionaires.
Yeah, but this kind of all just happened. My husband retired, and we've just been working towards this day.
All right, let me tell you how you got 1.4 million. Slow and steady.
Yes, sir.
And you did it without all of these financial sharks that are swimming around you in circles right now, like a Jimmy Buffett song.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, we just plugged along.
So you know how you get rid of those sharks? You shoot at them with a gun, and they swim off. I'm being metaphorical, okay? I'm not saying don't really shoot somebody, okay? You are in Kansas. It could happen. But, run them off. Unless they're your financial person that you already were dealing with, run them off.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they're there for the wrong reasons at the wrong time. They have violated their lack of class disqualifies them. Goodbye.
All right.
Now then, so rule number 1, slow down.
Okay.
Going fast is bad. Going slow is good. A lot of peace in that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Your dad moved slow.
I don't know what to feel.
Your dad moved slow. You got to 1.4 slow. And the way you're going to properly handle 2 million extra is slow. Calm down.
Okay.
There's no rush.
All right.
And there's no one in a hurry. A tornado is not coming. You're fine.
Okay.
Number 2, don't put money in anything you don't understand. It's your job to understand it. But guess what? You were already a millionaire, so you already understand how to manage wealth. You were already managing wealth. But maybe you need to bone up on it just a little bit. Maybe you need to polish up on your skills a little. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
With the extra weight of this extra responsibility. So rule 1, slow down. 2, don't put money in anything you don't understand. 3, do not work with anyone in any field, anywhere in the financial world at all. For that matter, anyone, anywhere probably, but certainly in the financial field unless they have the heart of a teacher.
Okay.
And the sharks that are circling right now don't have the heart of a teacher. Get rid of them.
All right.
85% of the people in the insurance business, in the investment business, in the real estate business, in the estate planning business are salespeople. 15% of them are teachers. You're looking for one of the 15%. And I made that number up, by the way, but I'm pretty close.
All right.
So you have the heart of a teacher as your advisor. They are not telling you what to do, and you're expected to do it blindly because you're going to understand it before you do it, and you're going to slow down. Can you handle one more rule?
I sure can.
Ask yourself, before you do the investment, before you make the move, is this honoring to my father's memory?
Okay.
And the reason I'm having you do that is your dad was a hero. I want you managing money like he did. And if you think he's in heaven smiling because you're smart, then that's probably because you're smart. And if you invest in something, you go, my dad is up there shaking his head going, that one's stupid. And then you know you're doing the wrong thing, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Because your dad was unassuming and steady and wise. Consequently, Proverbs says a godly man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. That's your dad.
Okay.
If you do those 4 things, kiddo, you're going to be just fine. George, what do you want to add a 5th one?
No, I just want you guys to start dreaming about what this does for you, because what it does, it gives you freedom and it gives you options. And so start dreaming about what you want to do to make this a blessing. I don't want it to give you anxiety. I want it to give you that feeling of what could we do with this money? Do we want to, there's three things you can do: give, save, spend. Where do we want to give a portion of this? How do we want to spend some of this and enjoy it? And how do we want to save this or put it towards other goals? Maybe you want to buy investment property or do something absolutely wild. You have the freedom to do that now.
Hey, D, you're more able to handle this than you think you are. You already had $1.4 million. You're not dumb. You know more than half the people that are purporting to give you advice. Trust your instincts. You have good instincts. This is The Ramsey Show. Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless. George Camel Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show. If you've ever wondered if an online will is right for you, if you need a trust, do you need a mirror image will? What kind of powers of attorney do you need? Well, you hear me say everyone needs a will, but I get a lot of questions asking if a simple online will is right for someone's specific situation. With those questions in mind, our team built a quiz to help you find the right option for you. The quiz gives you custom results based on the basic info, like if you're married or single, where you live, even the size of your estate. It helps you understand exactly what you need for your specific situation, and everyone needs a will. Take the quiz to figure out what kind of will you need to protect your family and your wishes. Text the word quiz to 33789. It's free. Check it out for yourself. If an online solution works for your situation, we'll send you a promo code for 20% off your will with our Ramsey Trusted provider. Text quiz to 33789. Quiz to 33789. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mismeasure or you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your window blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
Today's question comes from Chris in Tennessee. With COVID cases ramping up again, I'm wondering how to prepare in case we have lockdowns again. My profession isn't one where I can work from home. What steps can I take now to protect my family in case I'm not able to work for several weeks? Interesting. Well, I don't like people going into paranoia about what could and what ifs. But several weeks sounds like something that could be easily covered with an emergency fund, where if you, for some reason, got laid off, fired, you'd be taken care of for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there's more behind this question than just a financial question.
Yeah, he's afraid, and rightly so, because we've all had our world turned upside down, shaken like a freaking snow globe. So, we don't know what's going to happen next. And it's not even the disease you worry about all the time. It's whether the government loses its mind or not. And, well, that's not even in question anymore. But It's just a matter from state to state, locality to locality, how much crap you're going to get. So
he's in Tennessee, so he's safer than most.
Yeah, he's probably very safe in that regards. The thing about the stuff we teach, George, while we get criticized for it to be overly simplified or one size fits all or primitive or not for people with money, it's only for broke people or whatever, we get all these critics on this stuff. And the reason they're wrong is not because we're smarter or something like that. The things we teach are common sense, biblically based financial principles. And the interesting thing about these principles is they work during times of crisis and they work during times of prosperity. They're the only set of principles that work during both times. And so if you're out of debt, principle number 1, you have money in savings for an emergency, principle number 2, you're living on a plan, principle number 3, you are not self-centered so that you're generous, principle number 4, you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people, principle number 5, you're diversified, spread your portions to 7, yes to 8, for you do not know when disaster may come upon the land. Ecclesiastes says in the Bible. Diversification is a biblical concept. It's also a financial concept. But, we're going to live on less than we make. We're not in debt. We're not co-signing debt. Debt's off the table. We're investing wisely. What you are then is you have gone the slower route and you have built the brick house like the third pig. And so my answer to Chris is be the third pig. You remember the 3 little pigs, right? The first 2 little pigs got their house blown down by the big bad wolf called pandemic. And then he came over to the other little pig who had a lot of money in the bank and no debt. And they blew and he huffed and he puffed and he went to somebody else's house. And they said, no bacon here, buddy. And so, that's the story. We all remember it, right? So be the third pig. We're going to need to print up T-shirts. Be the third pig, right? And so if you're the third pig, you are prospering during wonderful times and you're prospering during the pandemic. And it has a tendency, when you're not broke, to help you avoid paranoia. Because this one sounds a little bit paranoid.
Yeah. And I think a lot of this is fear.
Yeah.
And we dealt with this, during the pandemic. We realized we were in a position to go, we need to help people not just with money, but with fear. And what was the antidote you found to fear in the last 18 months?
We were quoting Dr. John Deloney the whole time. Facts are your friends when you're in the middle of a crisis. Facts are your friends, not feelings.
So we need to go to reality here.
And so, the truth is, Chris, if you're in Tennessee, if you get out of your house and walk around, you're not going to see a society that is shut down by COVID, even though there was a slight spike in cases, which now are back down. But you're not going to see facts before your eyes that match your words on this paper. The facts are your friends. Feelings are not your friends. And worry is a feeling. Paranoia is a feeling. Concern over observable craziness and stupidity is a fact. And that's okay to be that. I'm that. I don't know what's going to happen next. Who knows what people are going to do. And I truly am more concerned about an out-of-control government than I am the disease. Both are scary. One of them, though, is not, anyway, it's just, yeah. So if you'll get out of your house and walk around, sir, and get out in the sunshine and exercise, you need some vitamin D, and walk around, see human beings interacting that are not freaked out, they're not scared. I think you're going to have a different conclusion to your situation. But to answer your question about worrying, be the third pig, because these principles work in good times and they work in bad times. George, I remember 2008 when the housing bubble burst, when the hedge funds had securitized subprime mortgages and stupidity had run amok, and Wall Street brought the American real estate market to its knees. With it, the stock market. The stock market dropped in half. Bush is transitioning into Obama. Neither one of them could find their butt with both hands at the time. And it was a disaster. I mean, it was scary. And I remember distinctly, I was on Fox News. I was in New York. And I finished Cavuto's show. Cavuto and I have been friends for years. And Cavuto is very, very smart. Neil's a very bright man. We've known each other 20 years probably. And we're between breaks. And the octaves in his voice had changed. He was scared. Because we're watching that red ticker tape go across the dadgum thing, 6 feet tall across the side of the New York building. And the stock market's going down. Gold prices are going up. All these volatility signs are not good. And he said, you think we're going to be okay? And I said, I know we're going to be okay. And I went and sat down. There's a steakhouse right across the street from there. And Sharon and I left the Fox green room, went across, sat down, ordered a steak. And I'm looking at that dadgum ticker tape. And suddenly that chill went down my spine. And I thought, I wonder if we're going to be okay. And Sharon and I were talking about it that night at dinner. And we said, why are we not scared? Because everybody else at that point was in freak out mode. I mean, we had congressmen that were like crying on the television because they couldn't get the stimulus package passed. You remember the stimulus package? That kind of crap. They were going crazy. And it was just like this panic. Literally, their voice octaves were changing. And I said, why are we not freaked out? And she said, it could be our faith. And I said, well, sometimes Christians get afraid. You're not Christian, doesn't mean you don't get afraid. And she said, well, it could be we've got several $1 million in the bank and no debt. And I went, oh, well, that could be. That might have something to do with it. Be the third pig, Chris. Be the third pig. This is the Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Joy is with us from San Diego, California. Hi, Joy. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Welcome to Tennessee. So good to have you. How much debt have you paid off?
About $106,000.
Woo! How long did that take?
About 45 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
About 59 to 85.
Good for you. What do you do for a living?
By day, I am a buyer. I work in supply chain, and I do a lot of other things on the side.
Okay, whatever it takes, huh? Good for you. Well done. What kind of debt was the $106,000 that you eliminated?
I had student loans. There was a car, some school loans from family members. I had a $9 library fine that I didn't know about, and a handful of credit cards.
I can't believe you had a $9 library fine. That's just awful.
Straight to the top of the debt snowball.
I thought Joy was going to be one of the good ones, and then I found out she had a $9.
Was it one book? Can you tell us was it worth it?
It was one book, and it was 4 years old, and they never even told me I had a fine.
Oh, there you go. See, that's how they do you. Over at the library, they're that way. Joy, good for you.
That's amazing.
Well done. You've been at this a while. Almost 4 years you've been hustling and grinding to get through this. Congratulations. That is quite sticking with anything that long is a great task, but you've been at it. So what started this Ramsey journey of you getting out of debt?
So I was already wanting to get out of debt because I'm an ordained pastor, and I can't do that job as my full-time job with a $900 student loan payment.
Oh, there's that.
There's that. And so I was working a plan, and it was not working. My plan was no good. And I started following somebody's budget workbook, and I decided to do it on my blog because nobody knew, like, people knew I had student loans, but nobody, including me, knew how bad it was. And so I did the first page of the workbook, and it was to total up all your assets and all your debts. And I wrote a blog post about it. And a friend of mine saw the post and sent me the link to her debt-free scream.
Oh.
And said, this might be motivating for you if you listen to this podcast. And so I listened, and my first debt-free scream that I heard, I was sold. And a few weeks later, that other workbook kind of went out the window, and everything, the credit cards are gone, and everything's gone from there.
Yeah. Wow. Good for you. Good for you. Wow, that's fun. I love a good friend that says, yeah, this might be encouraging to you. That's different than, yeah, listen to this, you're stupid. I got both kinds of friends, but this might be encouraging to you. That's nice. Yeah, that's really nice. Well done. Very well done.
So, Joy, tell me this. What were the sacrifices that you made? You said you were doing a lot of stuff on the side to bring in some extra income. What were the sacrifices that caused you to pay off 6 figures in under 4 years?
Well, I worked a lot of Saturdays doing websites and eBay, and not going hiking and not doing things with family and friends. I did some things, did some free things, but I said no to a lot of things in that process. A lot of really interesting dinners.
Very creative.
What was the worst interesting dinner?
I don't know that any of them were like bad, but people would give me food. People were really supportive and would give me food, and so I'd have to go find, how many lentil recipes do you know?
Wow. That's some good friends.
That's wonderful.
They would just donate you food.
Yes.
Oh, when we were getting out of debt, we were broke. Shannon would make tuna fish sandwiches, and I would put them in the refrigerator at the office, and by the time I got them out of the refrigerator at lunch, they'd be soggy. When I smell tuna fish to this day, it makes my net worth go down. It's broke people food for me, you know, and you get a smell off of something that's broke people food that you equate with this time, you'll never be able to eat it again. It ruins it. It just ruins it. So it's not diet food, it's broke people food. So it's just like, oh man, that's cool. That's fun. Good for you. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is? You did an incredible job, by the way.
So I have 3. One is the budget, but really actually looking at the budget like week to week, because my tendency would be to have a budget and then do my spending and then come back to the end of the month and go, what happened? Like it didn't.
I didn't
line
follow
up,
it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, or you get sloppy, you lose, you forgot you spent money there.
Yeah.
And so for me, like, I have to try to touch it every week and look at it and make sure my receipts are entered and keep track of things week to week, because if I don't touch it, I get sloppy.
Perfect.
The second one is that sharing takes away the shame. I heard somebody say that once.
That's good.
But if I hadn't shared on a blog post 4 years ago, like, I wouldn't be here, because I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
Right? But then there's this whole other piece of, it's not something that I have to be afraid about somebody finding out that I've got this mountain of debt, because everybody knows I'm destroying this mountain of debt. I am a girl who pays off debt. And so I
am Joy who pays off debt. That's
it's
me,
like, you know, you kind of pop the balloon, and then there's no longer something for somebody to find out that's like this bad thing. It's just, it has no power over you anymore.
Yeah.
And the third one is you really have to cut up the credit cards. I paid off all my credit cards in 2012, and then I paid off all my credit cards in 2018. See what happened here?
I see a trend. Yeah.
So I know a lot of people who tell me they want to do the points thing or whatever, and they are adults and they can make their own decisions. But for me, I was not going to do that a third time.
Yeah.
It was done. There's a YouTube video with evidence. They're all gone.
Had to put an end to that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. That's very smart. It's very wise. There's something that happens when you burn the ships.
Yep.
You can't go back, Cortez, right?
That's
and
it.
so, yeah, it changes the whole changes the whole thing. And you go, okay, I'm really going to do this. I'm going to have to live on a budget because I don't have a plastic crutch anymore.
Right.
And I'm going to have my emergency fund because I don't have a plastic crutch anymore. And it forces you to finish up and get rid of any ish that you were doing. So no Ramsey ish. You're going to be pure down the line. And that when you do all that, you're exactly right. That's when you see the results.
Mm-hmm. Do I trust God or do I trust a credit card to get me out of an emergency?
Ooh, who's your provider? Who's your provider? MasterCard? Who named that anyway? Yeah, or God. There you go. That's very good. Powerful. Well done, Joy. Good job. Who were your biggest cheerleaders? Sounds like you had a bunch of them.
I had a bunch of them. Now, there were some people that thought I was insane when they saw the video of me cutting up my credit cards.
Yeah, that's good.
That was nuts.
When
But
broke people are making fun of your financial plan, you are right on track.
but my family has been amazing. I'm part of a writers group, the ACFW in Orange County, and I have two churches that I've been part of during this season: Coast City Church in Oceanside and Citywide Mosaic in Temecula.
Yeah.
And these people cheered me on and wouldn't let me pay for food and gave me hand-me-down clothes and gave me massive amounts of things to sell on eBay. Like, I didn't go and buy things to sell in my eBay store. People just kept giving me, it just kept coming. When I was done, I had to clear it all out of my house because there was still so much stuff.
Yeah. So Mosaic, Erwin McManus?
No, it's Citywide Mosaic in Temecula.
Okay, so it's different than McManus.
Yes.
Okay, all right, because his is called Mosaic there too. All right, cool, very cool. Good for you. Well done. Man, she's
Amazing.
Impressive.
Very.
I don't think there's any stopping Joy.
No, she's going to cut up anything that comes her way. I'm not kidding. Don't come near me with scissors, Joy. Woo.
That'll work. Well, I mean, once you set your face towards something, and there's something about the power of confession. It takes away. Secrets have power over you. But when there aren't secrets, there's no power. And so, I've often said, once I went broke, I got over worrying about what you people think. And so my failures are my biggest part of my brand. Yeah. So I just kind of relish in them because it's kind of who we are. I've got a PhD in DUMB. And if you don't like that, shut up. You're wrong. So, all right, Joy, way to go. $106,000 paid off 45 months, make it $59,000 to $85,000. We got a copy of the Legacy Journey and Total Money Makeover for you. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt free!
This is how it's done.
There was
45 months coming to that moment. Woo!
That is true joy.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
This is the Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Philippians 1:27, whatever happens, conduct yourselves in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ. Then whether I come and see you or only hear about you in my absence, I will know that you stand firm in the one Spirit, striving together as one for the faith of the gospel. Babe Ruth said, never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Hayden is with us in Oklahoma City. Hi, Hayden. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I'm 25. My wife and I just got done paying off some student loans.
Great.
We don't quite have our emergency fund set up yet, where it should be yet. But, I'm a planner, so we're sitting talking with, the companies we work for and then some financial advisors in the area about setting up a 401k and an IRA and stuff. So the question I have is my company only matches up to 0.5%. So I'm wondering how much I then, take out for that side and how much I go to the my financial advisor with just a regular IRA.
So if in the baby steps, you said you almost have that emergency fund ready to go. Once you're at baby step 4, then we're going to put 15%. And you're wondering, how do I do that? In what order? Because of this 0.5% match. And we like match the best. So match is going to beat pretty much everything out there because it's free money. We're going to follow that up by going to that Roth IRA that you mentioned, and you can max that out. Followed by going back to the 401k. And you said you and your wife are looking into what options she has, and it won't make a difference as far as 15% is going to be across your household income. And so as long as you're doing that total across it, I don't know, does she have a match as well?
Yes, she does, and hers is it's like up to 3%, and then after 3%, it's every other percent, and then it maxes out at 5.
Okay, so you want to do all matches first. So let me back up. You kind of have to back into this. What George said is exactly right. Match beats Roth, beats traditional. So that's your order of attack, is match to Roth to traditional. And Roth can be Roth 401k or Roth IRA, either one. Okay, but a Roth without a match does not keep up with a traditional with a match or a Roth with a match, either one. So match is best. Now, so just take your whole household income times 0.15. That's the number we're trying to get to. Okay? Then you do your 0.5% match, and that gives you a number. What's the number as compared to, you deduct that from the 15%. That not the percentage points, but you say, let's just use a round number. Let's say you made $100,000, so your number is $15,000 you're trying to get to. If your 0.5% is $1,000, now we still got to do $14,000. If her 3% and then every other 1% adds up to, by the time we do all that to get all that match, that adds up to, out of your pocket, another $4,000. Well, now we're down to $10,000. Okay, out of that 15. And so you start spending off of your $15,000 or your 15% number, first by match, then by Roth, and then by traditional. George is exactly right. That's exactly how you approach this, and that's going to get you there. But sometimes people, it's a little bit confusing because it's like, it's a percentage of her income on hers and 0.5% of your income on yours, and you're trying to, how's that equate to the 15%? Well, you can't mix it up because you got percentage of two different numbers. So you just go with an actual dollar amount, the nominal figure, the real number, and then use that number to chunk out of until you get all the way down to 0.
Yeah, and it works the same way. If he goes, I'm going to do 15% out of my income, she does 15% out of hers. That simplifies it numbers-wise and gets you to the same place.
Yeah, but we might not do that because she might have a better match, and we might end up doing a bunch of it over on her side.
Yeah.
So you use the whole household number, because if you split it up and you do 15% of her income, and she runs down through that same formula, match versus Roth versus traditional, you might miss out on, he might have a better match or she might have a better match.
If there's a big match there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If one or the other has a match, the other one doesn't. You want to be sure you're chunking out the whole thing. Look at it holistically. Viswas is with us in Cincinnati. Hi, Viswas. How are you?
Hi, Mr. Dave. It's a great honor to speak to you. Thank you so much for taking the call.
Sure. What's up?
I'm a legal immigrant from India. I make about $53,000 to $50,000 a year. I have $8,000 in debt. That is $7,000 in credit card and $1,000 remaining in my personal loan that I took a couple of years ago. It's due to my visa restrictions. It's a single household income. I'm the only person allowed to work right now. I listen to your shows, and I was trying and see if there's any possibility I could take up some additional work and kind of reduce my debt. I have already scrapped off all my credit cards. I've just kept one just in case I need it, because I do not have much of an emergency cash. I have like close to $500, $600. Just to be on the safer side, any expenses. It's a two-part question. Would you have any suggestions? Unless otherwise I take a different job or go back to my country. I don't see any other ways I could tackle my expenses to become debt snowball and reduce the debt. Do you have any suggestions for that? And the main reason is that I'm also planning for a house because my family got bigger, I have $35,000 at my home country, which I could probably get it over here for my down payment. But even though I'm going to be staying here only for 2 years because of visa restrictions, I'm not sure if it's an economically viable option to purchase the house, and because my family is getting bigger.
What's the probability of your visa renewal? It's a work visa, I assume.
Yes, sir, it is. So I would say it's probably close to 50%, because it's a different extension and it might be a different scenario. So it's close to 50%.
And you would have to at least go back to India for a period of time, right?
That's right. What I see is like my wife and me, we just became new parents. So mental mindset is that if we head out of this country, it will be for good. And she does not want to even come back here.
Okay, so she's Indian as well?
Yes.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, no, I would not buy a house.
Okay.
It sounds like you're leaving and not going to come back.
Okay.
And 2 years is not enough time to turn a house and make a profit on it. Yes, I would pull some of your money from your home country just to pay off your debt, be debt-free.
Okay.
And then let's go ahead and pile up cash for your future in India. And follow your baby steps in India at that point.
Okay.
Because that's where, basically you got a 2-year stopover here is what you're telling me, and a 50-50 chance of renewal. And if that renewal does not occur, if it does occur, how long is it extended for?
So that's the catchy part. If it does occur, it would be extension of every 3 years. So then it would be another 3 years after that.
What does the pathway to citizenship look like?
Oh, that's a very long process, sir. It's like this process I'm talking about is a green card. So I'm applying for the green card, and it's a work visa-related green card. The backlog for Indian citizens is close to 10 to 12 years, easily. So I would still be able to extend every 3 years and stay in this country, but the green card I would get only after like probably 2032 or 35, something like that.
Wow. Okay. I don't have much knowledge of that world, just enough to ask a semi-intelligent question was all. So that's shocking to me. I'm sorry. Wow. Well, here's the thing. You still work the financial principles. They work. The only thing is you're probably going to step back from buying a house in this case. It's not going to make sense.
Yeah, and you said based on your income, you felt like you couldn't pay this off. And I just want to challenge you and tell you that you can, and people make a lot less and pay off a lot more. So you absolutely can do this, and you've got the money sitting over there in India, so if you can use that to at least pay off this debt and create an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months, that's going to put you in a really good spot as you at least finish out this visa.
Yeah, wow. Hey, thank you for the call, sir. It's an honor to talk with you. George Camel, Ramsey personality, my co-host today. Good show, George.
Thank you. Always a good time.
Nice job, James and Kelly in the booth as always. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. This is Common Sense for your dollars and cents. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.